Welcome to Comic Station, issue number 13, Lucky 13. We are on March 27, 2013. Today we have a number of new releases, a review, as well as a recommendation, and you will want to stay tuned for that recommendation. Absolutely. Alright, for the new releases for March 27, 2013, we're going to start off with probably the big known title for this week, Guardian of the Galaxy's #1. This is from Marvel. Basically, it follows up, if you saw an earlier edition of our Comic Station, we did Guardians of the Galaxy issue number 0.1. We had some favorable things to say about that. It picks up, basically, later in a bar. Peter Quill is in the bar. Obviously, this is much later in the history where he's already been established. There is a mention of some of his past deeds, so he's already well known within the galaxy. We get a wonderful surprise visit from his father, the king, and there's a little family jousting going back and forth. They're obviously not on good terms. Skip forward, we go and we find Iron Man, and he's traveling, and then he runs into a Badoon ship, enemy ship, and then the whole team gets together to fight this ship. I'm not going to spoil anything. Basically, there is a reason, and they are heading towards Earth. So they go to stop this ship, and beautiful action. The first half is a little more story-driven, more personal information in here. And then the second half is a lot of action. Beautiful action, really nice. And so it starts a little slow, but it ends big. And I like it. They're doing a really good job of keeping this series going, and each of the characters have their own unique look and feel to them. So
I'm looking forward to reading it. Once again, it's something that I think, obviously somebody who's been reading comic books for over 40 years, I know a good deal of the history of the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a great stepping on point for the future of the movies and some interesting characters that you won't get anywhere else. So I like the first one. I'm looking forward to reading this one.
Yeah, check out our review of Guardians of the Galaxy's issue number 0.1. It is up on Front Towards Gamer, and we also made a mention of it here on the Comic Station. The next one we have is a perennial favorite of our show, mostly, I'll admit, because of me. And honestly, this is probably, no category needed. This is probably one of the best superhero comics out there right now. Right up there with some of the perennial titles. And this is Injustice: Gods Among Us. This is issue number 3, and I just can't get enough of this series. I'm quite impressed that something that is a video game tie-in is getting such quality, and it's such a good story, and it's so good, even standing on its own. Myself, as a gamer, I'm really looking forward to playing Injustice: Gods Among Us, and even with all that put aside, this is great. The governments, as you left off on the last issue of Injustice, Superman has decided to step in and exert some power because of stuff that happened in the earlier issues. If you haven't seen it, go read it. And so the world's not happy with it, especially in this issue. The U.S. government doesn't like that Superman can't be controlled. He is stepping into even their territory. There is a plan that's hatched to subdue Superman. It really doesn't work. There is a beautiful scene where Diana, Wonder Woman, goes recruiting on the Hall of Justice. Fairly short, but it's really nice. You get a really good picture of all the characters that are going to be in this series as well as the game. So there is a really nice part in there later. Batman gets his little show in here. You see a little bit of where he stands on the whole breakdown of everything that's happening. And it ends with really, I really like this. I'm not usually a Wonder Woman person, but the ending ended with Wonder Woman talking with Ares, God of War, and it's kind of really, well, it's really action packed, but it's kind of funny at points that I really enjoyed. Let's just say Ares may want to change his name at the end of this. He, so check this out. Just absolutely.
No, this is the one superhero book that I really look forward to reading each month. It is by far, I think, the best of the superhero books. I haven't read it yet. I'm looking forward to it. If I get a chance, I will be reading it tomorrow. So, there's not much to say. It is, I think, by far the best superhero comic out there right now.
Absolutely. They are available in miniseries online. 3 digital issues equals 1 issue. I like getting the issue mostly because once I start reading it, I want to keep reading it. And regular issue size is barely enough for me as it is. So I'm also looking forward to later if they put it into a whole full volume. Alright, we're going to skip this one for a second. We're going to jump right ahead, do a little warp here. And we're going to do the Timewarp, number 1. All I think about is the Timewarp song.
Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror. But this is a really nice compilation from Vertigo here. 9 mini issues in here. They all have a different team working on them, different art style. 4 in particular really stood out to me, so I'm going to highlight them. R.I.P. Rip. It's about a Time Master. I really enjoyed it. Usually not my art style, but I really liked that one. They all have a nice story to them. I Have What You Need. People are immediately going to see this, and if they know comic books, they're immediately going to zone in on the name attached to this, Gail Simone. So read that one. I also really liked 000300. So it's 3 seconds is the name of it. And it is the last 3 seconds of a space pilot in a war mech and following protocol, and everything is set up for the last 3 seconds of your life that you're supposed to go through this protocol that helps gather data and helps improve for the Empire and fight for the fight. And it really ends on a nice note on this one, so check that one out as well. And it starts with time and ends with time. The last one is The Principle. It is about time police. Basically, time travel is there. It's not really, it is police, but it's not really regulated too well. So, what's one thing you would do if you can go back in time and do anything you wanted? A lot of people are going to mention kill Hitler. Well, as they mention in here, and it is brought up through a new rookie, why not let him? And the answer is simply, you get paradoxes and you can't change time. So there is a certain police force that is there to protect the principal, which is Hitler, and keep him alive so that he can die on time. So it is really cool. It's really interesting. It's a neat idea. And all these stories, they all wrap up pretty well, and I like them because, as I mentioned before with some of these anthologies or compilations, I like these little bite size, and you can get a good feel of people's artwork and writing style and sense of humor, and it just really nice to get something where you can read this and then maybe jump off into something more substantial.
Yeah, and it's usually, for me, like I will read that. It's a nice change of pace.
It's a really thick issue as well. So
yeah, it's good. It gives you a bunch of different things in one package, and it's a nice change of pace from the Marvel, DC main titles and stuff like that. So I'll definitely read that.
Yeah. All right, the last one. I really want to go into this more, but you're going to hear more about this later in the show. This is East of West by Image. And I'm going to tell you this right now. If you are watching this show and you are seeing this for the first time, it's probably already sold out. Overall, high-end, gorgeous artwork, alternate reality, alternate timeline, basically during Civil War, comet hits, hostilities cease, 7 nations are formed, and there's a bit of mythology in the beginning, and you don't quite know what's happening in the beginning. Something is going on, and then you find out throughout it, prophecies are made. It's a futuristic Western. It's so well done. The futuristic Western is perfect for this. They really set it up, and really a little bit of a thing with the first image you're going to see. There's 3 of them. They are looking for their 4th, and then the world will end. That's probably enough of a hint for some people. If you know what 4 characters would bring about the end of the world. And it is amazing. I can't get over the artwork. The story flowed beautifully, and there was not one point in this book that I didn't enjoy. Unless you were really against Westerns or something, I don't know, but I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, no, I've read that as well. It is fantastic. There's really not much else to say about it. The artwork is good. The writer Hickman is brilliant at his best. Probably the best thing I've seen him write since the last part of the Fantastic Four, when he brought that back. So yeah, no, this is a absolute must read.
I hope to have a full review on this later, so maybe I'll find something to complain about within that review. But I'm looking forward to being able to put this out there. So, all right. Next is a review that has been done for an issue that came out today, and a recommendation. If you couldn't tell what's coming up. All right, for our reviews today for issue number 13, we have another review written by Chaz King. This is Dragon Age Until We Sleep, issue number 1. Dragon Age from Dark Horse has come out with a number of issues. There was Those Who Speak and so forth. I really like the series. It does a good job of bringing in the characters, and Chaz agrees. Chaz really liked that the author David Gator brings a very subtle and suitable epic to this series. As anyone that knows the games, Dragon Age is a fantasy RPG, medieval kind of fighting with swords and magic and so forth, and this translates really well. The full cast of Dragon Age 1 and 2, there are a number of characters, not the full cast. There are a number of characters from both Dragon Age 1 and 2, and if you know this series, Alistair makes a return. That should make a number of people happy. And Chad Hardin's artwork really brings out Dragon Age Until We Sleep. Chaz really wanted to point out that there is a quote-unquote unbelievable amount of detail that will make you stop and stare at the pages for a long time. And I don't know what else to say about artwork except for that. If you're just going to read it and then stop and stare at it, that's a really good indication of the artwork style here. I know the Dragon Age series has a lot of action. I've seen their artwork with the action scenes before, and it's beautiful. So I fully trust Chaz when he ends his review with, if you are interested in the characters or the fiction of Dragon Age universe, you should give thought to picking up Dragon Age Until We Sleep, if only to keep an eye on Varric. If you know who Varric is, he's a dwarf who tells stories, and he tells some really good stories. And again, Chaz gave this a really good score, and you'll have to go to frontwardsgamer.com to see that score, but I recommend it. And speaking of recommendations, we have one from Scott, and if you couldn't tell from earlier, it's back.
East of West by Mr. Hickman. I don't usually, when I recommend books, I really like them personally. Doesn't mean it translates to everybody. As Paul said, if you don't particularly care for Westerns, maybe it's not your thing. But I'm not really sure that...
Shame on you if you don't.
Yeah, I don't know how you can not like the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. I mean, really, death, destruction, mutilation, all of it. But told in a very intelligent way that gives the story a really nice flow to it, as Paul said earlier. The artwork is brilliant in it. This is just everything that you could want in a comic. It's very intelligently written. You know, it's not a couple of words within each word bubble. You know, you're getting a lot for your money. You really are, I think. This is just, you've got to read this. The past couple of things that I've recommended personally, they're absolute must-reads, and this definitely falls into that category.
Absolutely. Usually we don't like to do a recommendation of something we already previewed, but this deserved it. Really needs a call out for this, and I really enjoy the art style, but also the humor within it. In one scene in particular, there's some action going on in the background while whatever you want to call him, Death or the White Horseman or such is in the foreground, and there's just words in the background instead of having the pictures, and it's hilarious. I liked it. I just really enjoyed this. I know you did. We were talking about this, and again, go to your local comic book store and find it if you can find it.
Yeah, we sold out of it today, so I'm actually in search of some more first printings myself, but it's definitely worthwhile. I don't think you'll be disappointed. If you are, please let me know, because I'd like to know why you were disappointed in it.
Yeah. Just going off the you sold out, I got this copy because I was doing the review, and I stole his. So that tells you. And he's not getting it back. So he's going to have to find his own. So, absolutely, recommendation.
Yeah.
Alright, we're going to end this issue of Comic Station. A little PSA, a little notice. I recently went to PAX East 2013 up in Boston, and comic books and video games have been marrying together, as we've seen with Injustice Gods Among Us, and many other games. Deadpool's coming out, and Wolverine had a game that tied in with the movie, and so forth. So comic books and video games go together well, and so I will be coming out with a few video interviews and a few articles. I have a new review from a new partner that we're going to be showing, as well as a review on a new iOS game that's coming out that really was a lot of fun. I'm not actually, I need to catch up on this character. You may know them as the you may know him as the rabbit in Ninja Turtles, but really he has his own series, Usagi Yojimbo, and so they're making a game out of it, and really promising. I like what they did with it. So again, stay tuned. We're gonna have more and some more side stuff as well than these weekly videos. Speaking of which, come back next week. Every Wednesday we try to post as on time as we can. This issue and the last one were a little off due to personal reasons, but we usually have them posted by Wednesday in the morning. So come back. We have our new releases roundup, we have reviews and recommendations, as well as these specials going on. Again, leave any comments, let us know what you think, anything that we should add. Feel free to let us know of a comic that maybe we didn't get to that we should. If this had skipped our grounds, I would hope that one of you would have left a comment and told us to go check that out.
Absolutely.
So, alright, thank you very much, and see you next week.
See ya.